In just 5 simple steps, I'll show you how to make heartbeats like this. Alright, so in the first step, I'll show you guys the VSTs and how to create melodies. So follow along. I already made the beat, so I didn't have to sit and over-explain things and just make it a bit easier. So let's just get into it. So first of all, before we actually get into the MIDI I created, first thing I did was I opened up Contact. The VST I chose was FREQ by Des. So that's one of the points also in the beginning. Use quality sounds. Most of you already have Omnisphere, maybe even FREQ, Analog Lab, whatever, like crazy plugins. Use them. Don't just stick to like Omnisphere or I don't know, FL Keys, because that's what you're seeing on TikTok. Like, try expanding your like VSTs, try random VSTs. If they're quality sounds, you'll often create quality yourself. Now let's actually get into the MIDI I created right here. I know for like a guide, a beginner guide, this may look a bit complicated, but trust me, it's not. I'll break this loop down and show you guys how easy this actually was made. So right here, I'll actually show you what I did to create this loop. We actually started out with a simple triad. So we got this right here. And as you can hear, the sound is that synth sound that you already heard. And then I just added a bass note just to make it even more full. And as you can see, 2 bass notes just to even fill out the low end a bit more. So now the triad goes from this to this. As you can hear, much more full triad and like melody and vibe in this beat. So now you're probably thinking about, well, what are these steps going down? I'll show you guys. If you don't already know, there's a very easy way to create trap beats, and it's by essentially doing this suspended chord right here, which is like very popular for like Metro Boom and Southside and producers like that. What you do essentially is just take the middle note and put it 1 down. So now your progression sounds like this. As you can hear, probably recognizable, that's also how Fiend was actually made, by using this progression. But you can take this progression and turn it into so many things. You just have to be a bit creative. Instead of having like 2 long chords, you could do that. I just chose to take the middle note right here, and as you can see, essentially just making it a bit shorter. That's everything I did. And copy it over, and you can see I just like played with the notes in between. So like this. The reason why there's also this one right here is because if you got the simple triad, you can do like this. And when you got it in the middle, you can actually also pitch it 1 up. When this one goes 1 up, you get a progression that sounds like this. So as you can hear, that also works. Like, you can do a lot of things with these like suspended chords. They all sound like dark and eerie. So what I was telling you guys just before, you just play around with the notes in between, and you essentially get the big progression that we got right here. And the bass notes are simply just 2 layers, some like in the final part. I chose to not have a second layer for the final one. The part right here is a bass between it, but it's still the same concept. And actually for the last part of this MIDI, so the complex and like hard part is already over. And as you can see, it was pretty easy. It's just playing around with it because you can do so many things. So that part is over, and now I just added a very simple top melody on top. So listen for these notes on top right here. And if you would get rid of these ones right here, it would just sound like plain and boring. You can hear just the bass notes changing, which also like helps this beat. I think I actually forgot to talk about that. But as you can see, we started out with the root note. And what's awesome about this is the same principle of the middle of this part right here, is that you can essentially take the parts right here and just pitch them up for the bass that you think fits. And it just gives a dope sound. And that will be a bit easier to hear through like the bass line. So I'll show that just in a moment. As I said, I just added a top melody on top, and it sounds much more full, and there's much more movement in the loop. As you can hear, it just makes it sound more full. It just shows you that one strong sound, like one sound that has quality, can carry everything. But later on, for the second part of the beat, I actually have a switch up that I'll show you. And for the last parts of this loop, I actually just went on splice. You can find the vocal yourself here if you want. It just sounds like this. Very simple vocal. I just added a vintage verb. Again, quality plugins gives you a better sound. Then I just added a simple EQ, like just boosted some of the top so the vocal could cut through a bit more, and actually an RC20 on the vocal just to make it sound a bit more retro, give it that old school sample vibe. So that was actually the first part of the loop right here. For the second part, just added this BBC Symphony Spitfire audio. This is free, you can get it. Just some strings, they sound like this. And I essentially just followed the melody. I didn't do anything crazy, figure out anything on my own. I just followed the melody that we got. And for the second part, we just switched it out for a piano. It has that 21 Savage feel that I just thought fitted when making this. And when we put those things together, it sounds like this. So as you can hear, just fits nicely, and that's why I did it. But again, you can see, to make crazy hard beats, you don't need like crazy patterns or anything. This is just, anyone can make this. If you just started FL Studio today, you can probably make this one. And the last thing I did was I found this ARP layer from some kid. I actually don't even remember. It's a bit time ago since I made this one. The layer sounds like this. It just sounds nice. And when we add those three components together, we got this. That was actually everything for the melody that you just heard. Like, I know it's very simple, but not much more is needed. Simplicity is key for like these beats. Now let's move on to the second step, which is the drums. So I'll just get into another file or another session, and I'll see you guys just in a bit. So I just exported the loop and just quickly made some drums so I can show you guys, so it doesn't have to take that much time. I'll just quickly run through what I did and how I did. We just pitched the loop down 400 semitones. So now that we got the loop pitched down, I'm going to show you how I made the drum. So the drum pattern sounds like this. So the first thing I added to this drum layer right here was the hi-hats, and the hi-hats are very simple. I just started out by pressing fill each two step, and we got just the basic pattern. If we just press fill each two step, we'll just get this simple pattern. With like the changes I made, I'll show you guys with the melody just in a moment. It sounds like this. So now you can just quickly hear with the melody how the two different hi-hats would sound. So this is just fill each two step, and this is with like rolls and so on. And the second step I added was just the open hat, so like very simple, very simple open hat pattern. And then I added a snare. And now for a bit of percussion, I added another snare, a bit lighter snare. And these go on like every hits in between. It just fills out some of those empty spaces that are left in the beat. In some cases, it's good just to leave the space, and in cases like this, we just fill them out because it just gives the beat some more. And the kick, I just followed the 808, which is actually the third part. So let's get to that. Why are the 808s a separate step? It's because the 808s are so important. The 808s are actually just as important as your melody. I know people think, oh yeah, 808, I'll just add that like to top it off, make it great. A 808 pattern can actually ruin a song today. If you don't know how to place 808s and just place them in the wrong key, you ruin everything. You take everything away from the beat. This is the 808 pattern I made, a very standard pattern. As you can hear, the 808 fits the beat nicely. It plays like when you expect it to play. What I meant by you can fuck this up, like very easily is if you just place the 808 random times. I hear this a lot in beginners beats. So they will like just take a note right here because they think, yeah, 808s just go in C, or let's just say G, just so I exaggerate it so you guys can get the understanding. If I place it in G, it would just sound bad. Now you can hear if we just place random ass shit, just do crazy stuff, just try and listen to it. Doesn't sound great. Like the tempo of the 808s are just wrong. They don't like fit naturally and everything just doesn't sound right. So when you go back to like the basics of the 808s, as I just showed you guys, listen to this pattern right here. It's very simple, but it's just in the pocket. So that's actually the 808. So for the fourth part of this beat, it's actually arrangement. As you can see, we can just chop up the melody and start rearranging stuff, and I'll just break it down even more. If you get my loops, I got a new loop kit coming out that you can get right here. It's in the description or somewhere on the screen. I'll put it somewhere right here. You can go get it. My loops will always have the stems separated, so you can just go in and find everything you're looking for, like the individual parts. But yeah, we can start out with the intro that we got right here. So I think we'll have that playing like this. Now we got the first pattern split right here, and we'll just add the 808. So when we go down to like, this is like the intro, let's say the first verse, it sounds like this. Let's go back to the arrangement. We got the intro, maybe still an intro like pre-chorus, something, a bridge, something like that. Then we go into the verse right here. And then for the second part, I added in the piano, making a little break right here. So it sounds like this. Essentially, you can like imagine what you think this is going to be, like an intro, a start, a hook, or whatever. But you essentially want to build up your beats like a staircase. You want to start at the first steps and move up to the highest steps. Some people even like to remove all of this, like not have a start, like a build up. Just go straight from this over like to a hook. So like this. For the fifth and the last part, this is going to be a very simple part. It's actually exporting your beats. So you go up to File, Export. I typically choose WAV file. Now I'll just save it right here in the folder I made. You can export like both MP3 and waves. I would recommend doing that. Then you got both if you're selling this beat. And then you just press start and you're exporting the beat. So yeah, that was actually everything for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something. If you did, please leave a comment, a like, subscribe. Whatever you guys feel for, please do that. I hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.